Hi, welcome to the first in our series talking about separation anxiety. My name is Terrie Hayward. I'm a professional dog trainer and behavior consultant, and I specialize in working with families who have dogs who suffer from separation anxiety related issues. In today's video, we're going to talk about what separation anxiety is. Dog separation anxiety explained. First of all, the term separation anxiety is sort of an umbrella term, and we'll use it to talk about a variety of different separation or alone time anxiety that dogs may experience. The terms separation anxiety, isolation distress, or hyperattachment disorder versus frustration, where we're talking about separation or something involving barriers, are all topics that we're going to cover today. It's also really important to note that there may be a combination of a variety of different things going on, and/or we have to rule out other possibilities like age-related behaviors associated with, for example, chewing, which might have to do with a dog teething versus necessarily be rooted in anxiety. So again, when we're ruling out other options, we want to rule out things like boredom, age-specific behaviors, and of course, always any underlying medical issues. The key is to always find out the underlying reason for the behavior before we even attempt to craft a plan to resolve what's going on. Now we're going to talk a little bit about definitions so we can more specifically understand what we're speaking about. The first one is separation anxiety and/or hyperattachment disorder. This is generally when a dog is only comfortable with one specific individual person. This situation is fortunately more rare, but more difficult as well. For example, I had a client who had a dog who was diagnosed by a veterinarian with clinical separation anxiety. She was on the road in an RV where she and her dog lived. And that would, on first glance, probably seem pretty perfect because they were always together. However, she faced difficulties because if she, say, got to a gas station and she needed to get out of the vehicle and go inside to pay, or sometimes at certain campground areas, they would have get-togethers, but they didn't allow dogs to participate. And those specific areas where the dog needed to be separated from her were particularly challenging. The next one we're going to define is isolation distress. In this situation, which is, again, generally more common, usually we're talking about a dog that is comfortable, not necessarily fantastic, because again, they may have a specific attachment to a sort of favorite person, but they're comfortable in general as long as there's somebody else there. It might be a select group of individuals that they feel comfortable with, but it's different than a dog who can't cope unless they're with one specific individual. From the management perspective, it's much less challenging if a dog is going to be okay as long as you've got another person present. And lastly, we're going to talk about frustration, which may not actually be separation-specific anxiety. It may be a dog who has sort of a fear of being left out, some FOMO, fear of missing out. It also may be a dog that struggles with being behind a barrier and may have some barrier frustration. This can be a baby gate, it can be a door in your home, or any other type of confinement. It's also always really important to identify and recognize context-specific behaviors. For example, with separation anxiety, and again, I'm just using the umbrella term, we may have a dog that's not comfortable at home, but is relaxed in a car or at somebody else's house. We might have a dog that realizes on Saturday and Sunday you put on sneakers, and therefore that means you're not leaving for the entire day, because on Monday through Friday when you put on more smart shoes, they know that you're out of the house for many more hours. And so there are a lot of cues in the environment that may dictate when the dog is relaxed or not. It's also really important to recognize that each case is unique and that every dog is a study of one. So there's not any specific formula or sort of cookie cutter approach, and we really need to tailor our overall plan towards your individual dog. It's also always really important to avoid labels. Labels can be problematic because if we label a dog as lazy or stubborn, then we aren't looking at the specific body language feedback. And one of the things that I work hard with my clients on is getting folks to recognize observable body language so that we can then adjust our plan accordingly. This is why if you've got a dog that you suspect might suffer from separation anxiety, your first step is your veterinarian, and/or your second step, or at the same time, is to contact a qualified professional trainer who specializes in separation anxiety and can help you puzzle out what's going on and how to take steps towards relaxation.